Hey, this is TJ from TJOnTheRoad.com coming to you with the ASM Ashun Sound Machines Hydrasynth. Okay, so this is the part 3 of the video series. I think it's going to be a 4-part series. The next part will be all sounds that I've been programming over the last couple of days. But today I just want to continue from part 3. Last time we talked about the module section and then the signal flow. We talked a little bit about the mod matrix and making assignments. Today we'll also talk a little bit more about the mod matrix. We'll talk about the macro assign. And we're going to talk about the arpeggiator. So let's get started. Okay, as you heard, I had a lovely little patch that I started working on. I'm a sucker for oozy goozy lush type pad sounds. And there's a couple things I want to touch on that I didn't touch on in the last video before we get to the mod matrix and the macro assign and the arpeggiator. One is when you hit the oscillator button, you'll see it's in wave scan mode. If you hit the wave scan list, okay, I have 8 waves set up here. You can have a maximum of 8 waves. One of the cool features for the Hydrasynth, though, is you can have the waves all set up in series in terms of the harmonic content. And you can do that by hitting the shift button. If you hit shift and you turn the first one, you'll see here they're all going to change. All 8 will change in line with them. So each successive one is supposedly the next highest in the harmonic series of complexity. Okay, but you don't have to start with 1. If you just want the same first 4 waves to be what they were before, you can start with the 5th wave and change those. So hit shift, hit 5, and it'll just change 5 through 8. Okay, so let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, a little bit of a change in the timbre there. Now the next thing I want to talk about that I didn't mention before was the LFOs. I showed you the LFO pages here, but I have forgotten to show you the second page. Okay, so you have the typical wave type, the rate, whether or not it's on BPM sync or not, whether it's a poly mode or not, poly or single or off, the delay, fade in, the phase, the level. But if you hit it again, you get a smoothing, okay, and you can say whether or not it's a one-shot, okay, or not. Okay, so it's a one-shot LFO. So I have that on off for now. The next thing I want to talk about is the meat of this video, and that being the mod matrix. Now we touched a little bit about that before in regards to setting up the mod matrix. Say for example, if you wanted to assign LFO 3 to modulate the first oscillator, you just hold LFO 3 oscillator, it automatically takes you there. Okay, but there's some things that you can't do with that. For example, the poly aftertouch. Okay, so you'll see here I have the poly aftertouch set up to the mixer to set the ring volume. Okay, so you'll see over here on the mixer the ring volume is set at about 23, 24. Okay, but if I go back to the mod matrix, okay, I can use the ring volume adjustment just based on the amount of aftertouch that I use right here. So if I want to max that out, you can really hear it cut in once I hit the aftertouch. Or if I was just to take it out, just to give you, you can also go to the negative direction. Just to give you an example. Now you can't hear the ring volume at all. Okay? But I like a little bit of that in there. Okay, and you can go to any empty slot. There's 32 slots. You see here the assign, so you push the button for assign and you want to assign that slot. Let's say I want to assign envelope 5. I go down, okay, and let's find something cool for that. Okay, how about the reverb time? Okay, so go to the time here and then change the time. So now I hit envelope 5 here, you'll see the envelope and that'll affect the reverb time. Alright, and maybe we can just go back to the mod matrix again and put something in there that's a little bit more obvious. Say, for example, I'll use envelope 5. Let's see what we got here. How about for the mixer, and I want to raise the number 3 oscillator. And we'll crank that up. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the macro assign. Now, the macro assigns are just like the mod matrix, except it allows you to use the 8 encoders here to do a live performance. Okay, now I've set up 2 macros here. Okay, macro 1 is for the filter cutoff for 1 and filter 2. Filter 1 and filter 2 over here. Okay, and filter, let's go back there. Macro 1. So filter 1, when I change the macro, it's going to reduce the filter by about a quarter, about 26, and it's going to raise the filter in filter 2, that being the morph, by about 22. Now it might not be as obvious when we hear it, but let's see what it sounds like. Okay, hit the home screen, you'll see the macro. And you can hear both filters sweeping in opposite directions. Okay, the arpeggiator section has 4 knobs and 4 buttons here on the desktop. You've got the mode, the octave, the division, and the swing. And then for the buttons, you got the on, the latch, the triplet, tap, tempo, and then you have some shift buttons here, the edit and the sustain. If you hit the shift and the sustain button, it'll act like a sustain foot switch. You hit the shift and the edit button here, it'll bring up the menu for the arpeggiator. Pretty simple there. There's a couple pages on that. Okay, the tempo, the division, the swing, the gate, up and down mode. Second page, okay, it has your ratcheting functions, okay, your clock functions, and it has something here called phrase, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Okay, so I have a lovely little bass patch. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, turn the arpeggiator on. Alright, let's try, that's just the up mode, the down mode. We'll go through the different modes here. Okay, so those modes for the up, down, the up mode, the down mode, the up, down mode, the down and up mode, the order that you pressed it mode, and the random mode. Then there's 2 other special modes here. There's the chord mode, okay. And there's something here called the phrase mode. Now, the Hydrasynth doesn't have a sequencer, but it does have these preset phrases. There's 64 of them here. Okay, so if I hit this, oops, turn the arpeggiator back on. All right, we're going to go through all those phrases. Okay, we won't go through all of those, but that is the arpeggiator section. Okay, so that's it for today about the mod matrix, the macro assign, the couple of the mod functions and LFO functions that I talked about a little bit earlier, as well as the arpeggiator. We want to finish out today with a patch that I had made. There'll be a lot more patches in part 4. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, check those out as well. Thank you for watching this part 3 video. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe.